Finally, a legacy auto company is copying one of the smartest things that Tesla did. The only question is, why did it take this long? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you here. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne in Australia. Let me know in the comment section below. If I haven't actually asked this before, have you been to Melbourne? Have you been to Australia? And are you planning on coming here at any point in the future? Because I am going to, at some point this year, do a free public experience where I'm going to talk about electric cars in the future. And I'm planning on doing a meetup somewhere, probably in Melbourne, but I'm not sure yet. Now, big welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel. Welcome back, everyone else. This channel's only been around for less than 11 months, and we've made 1,300 videos in that period of time. Make sure you check some of those out. Volkswagen's Project Trinity is going to do something that makes a lot of sense. The big problem here is what they're doing excellent. Even Herbert Diess would say this is a problem. The factory won't be finished until 2025, maybe 2026. But what will be good about this factory? Well, Herbert Diess himself, the CEO of Volkswagen, says that Volkswagen can't currently compete with Tesla on costs or efficiency or anything else really when it comes to electric cars. I personally believe Volkswagen are losing money on not every, but most electric cars they currently sell in most countries. How will they fix that problem? Two things: automation and GIGA-castings. They need to improve their efficiency pretty badly, considering it takes them more than 30 hours to build an electric car, and it takes Tesla only 10. That's a huge difference. Now, intriguingly, both Ford and Volkswagen said that they're learning from Tesla and Elon Musk, and Volkswagen's future plans substantiate those claims. The only question is, will it be too late? I mentioned last year on a number of occasions that 6 different Chinese automakers made the decision to use GIGA-castings last year. And it's not going to take them 3 or 4 years to make that happen. It's going to take them less than 12 months. Some of them have already started using GIGA-castings. That is one of the big advantages of these smaller companies, which can pivot much more quickly. And Volkswagen has been pretty careful not to reveal too much about what it's doing at Project Trinity, though it has been clear about some of the major things it's doing, or the things it needs to do to become the global leader in the EV industry, which, by the way, I'm here to tell you now is not going to happen. It's a pipe dream. It's a good pipe dream to have. And hey, you know, if they make millions of EVs in the process, that's fantastic. But it's sort of like trying to race against Usain Bolt in his prime. You're just not going to win. So it's becoming clear now that the plans that Volkswagen have for Project Trinity will include Tesla-like manufacturing processes, including potential mega castings and ramped up automation. Obviously, Herbert Diess has visited Tesla's factories, not just their factory in Germany, also their factories in America. Why did he do that? Because he's smart and he realized that he needs to work out what is the best way to make cars. The thing I don't get is, this man, right, the leader of Volkswagen, was humble enough to go, you know what, maybe Tesla's doing things better than we are. Let's find out what they are. How many other CEOs from other automakers have done this? Personally, any of them that haven't done this should be fired. That's my view. Prior to the recent news reported by Reuters and Teslarati, Volkswagen shared that it's planning a multitude of upcoming electric cars and SUVs, with the focal point of its transition coming by the way of Project Trinity. Always reminds me of the Matrix whenever I hear Trinity, which isn't expected until 2026. That's the problem. That's 4 years away. Volkswagen says that the project will bring notable innovations in range, charging speed, digitalization, and eventual level 4 autonomous technology. Now, there is a big problem with this factory. And I believe it could lead to the failure of this factory to compete efficiently with Tesla or with China or with quite a number of automakers. And it's a big issue. But first, in press releases about Project Trinity, Volkswagen highlights the 3 main components in the project, which include a new electric platform with state-of-the-art software, a simplified overall supply structure, and sustainable and intelligently networked production practices. Basically just simplifying all that marketing jargon. Volkswagen is hiring a lot of software engineers. They know they need to improve in that area. They want to build the cars very similarly to the way that Tesla builds theirs now. Believe it or not, ID3s, ID4s, ID5s, they're still not at that level where Tesla is at in terms of their software control. Tesla remains the global leader among producers of EVs, and the US EV brand has now opened their factory in Germany. It's officially released cars last week. Obviously, its Texas Gigafactory will actually open this week. Now, amidst Tesla's growth and their innovation, which Herbert Diess said he essentially idolizes, Volkswagen is one of just a few companies with plans to top Tesla in the future. Ford and General Motors are taking aim, which is, to be honest, their rhetoric around that is just ludicrous and it should be laughed at. I mean, don't get me wrong, good goals are great, but goals that are simply unachievable, they're just dreams and wishes. And dreams and wishes, they're not goals. They're just dreams and wishes. Anyway, another automotive company, which I don't really consider legacy auto because it's a Chinese car company, Geely, they're not quite on the same level as some of these other legacy automakers in terms of their, perception of their brand. Volvo. Don't get me wrong, Volvo are doing great things. For example, Hertz just ordered 60,000 electric vehicles from Polestar. That's a big order from one company for the Chinese automaker. And Volvo's been, well, I like what they've been. They haven't been making these incredible claims. We're going to beat Tesla. It just, it's all a bit too much, right? Volvo said nothing about that. However, they revealed they're going to be using special die-casting machines to speed up electric vehicle production, which are a bit like GIGA-castings essentially. And I reported on that a couple of months ago. So while Volkswagen is one of the world's most successful EV makers, it hasn't made any big innovations to speed up production. And the reality is, while it's improving its production rate of around 5% per year, only 5% of the vehicles it sold last year were actually electric. For example, BYD. They were able to transition to being completely electric by the end of last year. Plug-in hybrids, fully electric vehicles. They got rid of their internal combustion engine production lines, and that's what Volkswagen needs to do much quicker than it thinks. Why? Because disruption will happen much, much quicker than anyone, including myself, predicted last year. Why? Lithium iron phosphate batteries. They're being built out at an incredible rate. The Chinese are not talking about it. They're keeping it a bit quiet. They're not talking about what exactly is going on. They're not even really talking about, the West is not talking about what is really going on. That is the incredible advancements in lithium iron phosphate LFP batteries, where the energy density will be on par, if not better, at the cell, at the pack level, than lithium ternary batteries. By the way, Volkswagen, what is the primary type of battery they use? Currently, they only use ternary batteries, which cost nearly double right now versus LFP batteries. So you can see the problem here, right? If the energy density is the same, but lithium iron phosphate batteries have all the advantages in terms of life. Life cycle is about 3 times greater. You can charge to 100%, discharge to 0%. They don't set themselves on fire ever. In a crash, they almost never go on fire. All the advantages go to LFP. But if Volkswagen is focusing its battery production and its vehicle production on non-LFP cars, which it is, but we know they do plan on doing some with LFP, but not a significant percentage, then I question how they can compete with manufacturers in China. Even though there is a 10% tariff on vehicles from China being sold in Europe, I believe the cost advantages for these Chinese companies and the product advantages will simply be too great for Volkswagen to compete with. And really, we know what demand is right now, don't we? We know that there are, more than 2.5 million pre-orders in the United States alone for electric vehicles. That is insane. That shows you what the market wants. And we're talking about America here. What about Europe? What about China? Chinese electric vehicle sales are going ballistic. The same thing's happening in Europe. Production is key. Production of the cheapest, most affordable, best quality product is key. I don't believe Europe can do that. Legacy Auto can do that. From what I'm seeing, from the data I'm seeing, from the numbers I'm seeing, China's keeping quiet, but the storm is about to come. And that is scary for Volkswagen. I believe Herbert Diess does have some idea of what's happening. So maybe they can pivot in time. We're yet to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think will happen to Volkswagen by the end of the decade?